Hi everyone. What a day. I'm completely exhausted and my boobs are like 1 billion pounds. So, the main thing to focus on, to fill you in on today, is that I went to the gynecologist this morning to talk about my uterus, and it actually led to my whole tamoxifen journey potentially ending in a couple days. In my post breast cancer treatment, I don't even know what you call it. I don't know. My systemic therapy plan changing. So that's where I'm gonna go. First of all, last night I slept without a bra on. Oh, and without the big fat pillow. I slept with like normal pillows. My husband was still behind me, the pillow, not person, was still behind me. But I was much more normal in how I sleep, which was comfortable with my back, just felt really weird with my boobs. And I think I've been up since 5 because I just don't like how they feel. I know I don't need compression anymore and I don't need to wear a bra anymore, but they just still weigh so much, and to just have them loose is really uncomfortable. And I still, I'll explain the sticker in a minute too. I have so much pressure here, which I know just takes time, and it's way better than it used to be. It's not pain. It's just like you're literally carrying around like so much weight on your chest all the time. So like I noticed, I was frustrated after my appointment with a plastic surgeon yesterday, just because like, you get breast cancer, which like sucks. I just read someplace that breast cancer is now becoming the #1 most common cancer out of all the cancers. It used to be lung cancer, and now breast cancer has surpassed lung cancer rates. It's crazy. But I think after having breast cancer, and then, you make it lighthearted, like, ooh, I get breast implants when I'm done, so I'll have these perfect, perky little boobs, whatever. And I know I had to be patient and wait. I'm just sharing where I am now because too many people are like ridiculously glass half full, and I'm just forewarning you, I am not there at all right now. I kept my shit together for so long, and I have not been for at least a week, and that's fine. That's where I am, and wherever my Just Be pillow is, I show it to you. So they're heavy and they're awkward, and I think that like with the breast cancer thing, that and getting the implants, like your consolation prize for all this crap should be that you get to go home with these like gorgeous looking boobs. And I do have some very small amount of glass half fullness that in a year or 6 months, my boobs will look very different. But for right now, I'm exactly 7 weeks right now, or today. Right now, they're just not perfect. And for someone who's like a recovering perfectionist, it's really hard to like look down and no one else will notice them. All the doctors, everyone says they look wonderful. And to me, they're just not real. They're not perfectly rounded. They're not the perfection that I thought they should be. My left one hangs a little bit more over than my right one does for my cleavage, yet the outside of my left one is so pretty and perfectly shaped, and the right side isn't. It's like I just want them to be perfect. Because you spend, I mean, not me spend because of insurance or whatever, but for the amount of money that it costs and the amount of stuff to go through having to deal with cancer in the first place. It's like, just give me that treat bag of something. Let me win the lotto or whatever. At least give me a set of boobs that just looks perfect. And I'm just not there. And to be truly authentic, I just have to share where I am. One small, well, not small thing, but a weird analogy that I thought of yesterday there's so much to talk about, or not talk about, but it's so much more acceptable and open now to, especially for young people, to say that they're gender, or not say, but like explain how they're gender fluid, or to change their pronouns, or for people that are transgender to be public that they're transgender, and it's much more accepted now, which is phenomenal. And I'm straight, I'm heterosexual, but you could never, as a heterosexual woman, I could never understand what that's like for someone who's transgender or gender fluid or whatever. Like, I feel very, not right now, but in general, I feel very connected to me being female. With the implants, what was coming up in my head yesterday when I was coming back from plastics, and I was just frustrated with all the little imperfections and things that are bothering me, was that I don't feel like my legs are fine. That's probably all about it right now, that, my legs are fine. Because I can't say my arms are fine because they're not fully functional. My torso is not fine because half of it was friggin' cored out 7 weeks ago with these foreign things put inside of me. Even like here, like there's so much pulling on my skin because they're just so damn heavy that I don't feel like my face is even mine right now. I put on so much weight. I know partially what that's about after today's appointment. Because I'm exercising and I'm watching what I'm eating, and I'm like, granted, I'm not doing Pilates or anything, or like running 6 miles, but I don't understand why I would have put on 20 pounds in like a year. That's crazy. I have not weighed this much since I was pregnant. And it doesn't feel like me. My eyes don't feel like me because, like, I normally am done up with makeup and whatever. My hair sometimes feels like me, but I can't wash as much as I'd like to because it just is so exhausting with my arms. And when I think of my chest, I wanted this to be a whole separate vlog, but I'm not going to stop talking about it now. When I think of my chest, a woman's breasts are something, very prominent that society just defines women as, whether it's right or wrong. A lot of people, too many people, when they look at me, especially now, before, I guess it was kind of flattering when I had like pretty cleavage with my push-up bra or whatever, and whatever. But now it's like when people see me and they look at my chest and they don't look me in the eye, that really, really hurts. And I know they're curious, and I'd rather them just ask. I have like probably 90 vlogs here that gives you all sorts of information. If there's something specific you want to ask, ask. If you're wondering why it looks like I still have normal boobs like I had before, then just say that. And I can assure you that underneath the shirt, they are not the boobs that I had before. And that in theory, I shouldn't be whining and complaining about the fact that I have implants because I chose to do that. But I didn't expect the pain and the pressure and the ridiculous amount of time for them to look like what they're gonna look like. And for me, I'm a very real person. People have told me that it's like one of my greatest strengths is like how open I am and how real and sharing and whatever. And it's just easier to talk to me. These aren't real, and I feel like they don't belong to me. So when I link back to the sexuality thing over the past couple of months in particular, especially as schools come back into session, there are certain kids that I know that came back this year during school, and they their pronouns changed to theys, or their first name changed to a gender neutral first name. Some people are going through treatments that are transgender. And, I could never know what it's like for someone who, grew up as a male and feels like they're not in their own body and they really should be a female. Like, I can't try to understand what that's like. That's not the case for me. But when I hear that, like, them say those words, like, this isn't my body, I didn't get that at all. And from my perspective, as being a breast cancer survivor, I mean, I'm still here. I guess that makes me a survivor. I don't know what the hell that means. Because you survived the surgery, like, what about the medication after? It doesn't kill you, the medication, but, like, at what point do you become their survivor? When they sew you up? I don't know. I'll have to Google it. I don't really want to Google it. You can feel free to come in and let me know. I don't like labels. But I don't feel like my chest, and by chest, I mean like this whole area from here down to my belly button, I don't feel like it's me. I feel like my body is very separate from me. I feel like the things that are put in here are not me. They are intended to be feminine because they're breasts, but they don't feel like me. I feel like I'm in this body that's been manufactured, and it's not me. It's not mentally a part of me. And I know it's normal to have these feelings right now, but they're really strong feelings right now. So I mentioned yesterday, it was funny, like at night, I was for a while, I was laying without, I mentioned I was laying without a bra on just so I can touch and whatever to regain feeling. I don't even want to touch them anymore. Like, I've been showering more frequently because it's easier, not necessarily my hair, but at least the rest of me. And I'm like, that's enough touching. I don't want to touch them anymore. I want, like, I want my cake and eat it too. I want my old boobs back without the cancer, please. And without, like, the fact that they're boobs of an almost 50-year-old woman, so it didn't look like what they looked like when I was, like, 18. I want all that. I don't want them to have to be implants. I want them to have to be healthy tissue. And that's just not the case. And this isn't even about nipples or no nipples. I mean, I know that's there too, but right now that's not what it's about. Because, like, I can't feel, I mean, I can touch and know that there's no nipples there. But, like, what I feel right now, the tightness and the heaviness, like, whether there's a nipple there or not, makes, like, no difference to me. They're super heavy. It feels almost like someone's standing on my chest, is what it feels like. But I've had that feeling the whole time since surgery, and it's just getting better, so it's not like something's wrong. Nothing's wrong. The scars are actually looking better. It's just how it feels. It feels remote. It feels like it's not me. It feels like, someone's moved into my home that I'm supposed to love, and I don't love them. And I'm supposed to learn how to love them, even though I don't love them. I don't even know what they look like. I'm supposed to love these things that are inside of me, that are part of me, that make me me now, but I've never even seen them, nor will I ever see them unless I have to get them switched out or something. All right, I gotta switch topics. So I mentioned yesterday that I'd gotten a book from from Plastics, my stretching exercises after breast surgery. So, God, I just realized I haven't posted a vlog in such a long time. I have them done. They're just not uploaded. I'm so tired at the end of the day. The emotions are just so draining. So, well, that's funny because this woman's on her back. I'm like, I'm not laying on my back yet. I'll get there. So right now, the exercises that I'm doing, the one that's like dog-eared, like start here. It's wall slides. I'll show you there. They're wall slides. It took me a while to like follow directions because I'm a very detail-oriented person. I want to make sure I'm doing it right. And I look at her hand and I'm like, I'd love to be able to reach like in that picture over there. I just can't do it. I was asked to touch my left armpit with my right hand. And I'm like, I can't do that. And they're like, yes, you can. But I go over and I'm like, my range of motion is like over here. If I go more than this, it hurts. And this just touches my boob. I can't wrap around. It really hurts. I can't do it. Anyway, so this is what I'm doing now. So I have to do these things and then those things. It's actually very hard to find a wall in your home that has nothing on it that you can stretch out, like in these pictures down here. And each page has different exercises on it. These are the wall slides. They're not wall crawls, they're wall slides. And then once I am able to do these, like, you know, comfortably, then I move on to the next one, which are these. A standing overhead stretch, and then there's a reaching back. I can't even imagine reaching back. I can't do that, just as a heads up. Can't do that. It just seems like so much right now. But anyway, so I go from that, then I go on to this page once I can do, so I start with this one, I do it till I'm good enough at it, whatever. And then once I'm good with this one, I go to the next one, then I do this one and this one. So you're not ever getting rid of one, you're just adding to it. It doesn't take very long at all. I just did it the one day. And then there's a whole bunch of other ones on there, like inner arm stretches, watching your posture. I watch my posture now anyway. And then in addition, I'm still doing my neck circles and the shoulder rolls and the shoulder shrugs that I've been doing. It's so stretchy. And as a reward, since I get lots of stickers in the mail, I'm like, you know, it's like potty training. I'm going to give myself a sticker every time I finish. So I got my stickers that were sent to me. And I have my love yourself one on there. I do love myself. I'm just angry at the world right now. And I'll put a little sticker wherever as I get these things finished. You know, whatever. This is my little PT school. And I have to call PT. I'm not ready to do that right now. I will. Monday's a holiday. It's Indigenous Peoples Day. I will call PT. I'm just not in a good headspace right now. All right, so gynecologist. Reminds me I have to talk to my older son too, which doesn't really impact him too much because he won't be here to see. But anyway, so I was supposed to have a pelvic ultrasound today as a follow-up because I had a pelvic MRI, and my uterus basically is like full of fibroids. Super common with women, especially as you get older. But when it gets to the point that your uterus is pretty much made up of only fibroids, it gets to be a problem in lots of different ways. And in the beginning, it's like, well, how much can you just deal with it? How much does it impact your lifestyle, whatever? And they don't necessarily, it's not like they turn into cancer. That's not what it's about. But what I learned today is like, and I wasn't even thinking of this, I'm thinking of more of like a hormonal thing. Do I need a hysterectomy? Like that kind of thing. What it wasn't dawning on me is that like your uterus as an organ, if it's all full of fibroids, you know, it's pretty solid of a piece of organ. And it actually pushes up against the organs around it because you have these fibroids that are maybe making the uterus even bigger. I think they did say it was, I don't know if it was inflamed or just like bigger because of the fibroids. But what's close to there, you know, is your GI tract. And lo and behold, all of a sudden, the past couple of weeks especially, you know, I'm like, why is it so difficult? All of a sudden, I'm not on these meds. I don't understand why, like, I just can't, you know, normally go to the bathroom. Like, where did this come from? I don't really understand. I have had a long history of GI issues, but, like, I haven't had issues like this in a very, 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 very long time. Like, double-digit years long time. And it's not something that I can live like. So, and I'm not a pill taker. So I got confused, but she explained today that like, it's very possible that the uterus is pushing up against my intestines and it's, you know, blocking things from working. So I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. Because, you know, I see a nutritionist and we talk about changes of food and how much to drink and changes of this and changes of that, whatever. But if the physical organ is pushing up against your other organs, it makes sense that they're not going to work right. Which could also, my distension really was on the top half of me. I don't know science well enough to know exactly what organs where. I know your lower intestine ends on your left side. But but I don't really know if your intestines are above your belly button. I don't know. But it's not bloating. It's different. So it answered a lot more questions for me when she did that, and she actually never did. I was in the room, like when you have a pelvic ultrasound. I was in the room. The monitor's there. You see their little things. You can have one on your stomach like you do when you're pregnant, or they can take a really giant thing and shove it up your vagina and go look all over the place like a joystick, and then push your abdomen in towards it, or your lower abdomen, so they can find your ovaries and get really good pictures. I shouldn't say it's not painful, because sometimes it is painful when they're trying to like push stuff over to get a better image of finding stuff. But anyway, they just did that, the MRI and an ultrasound, I think in July, because it was right around the same time that all this stuff happened. So she's like, I don't really see a need to do another one since I just had one. Like, really nothing should have changed dramatically. And I was fine with that. My gynecologist is fantastic. I was fine with that. And it was just weird that, like, I'm sitting on the table where you'd have the ultrasound done. And I look back at when she came in, I'm like, I can't lay horizontally on that thing. And I don't know how you do a pelvic ultrasound with the thing going inside of me while I'm like kind of sitting up. I don't think it works biology wise that way. Anyway, so then it turned out I didn't even need it. And it's funny just like sitting there with like, you got nothing on, you have your top on and stuff, like you're fully clothed from the waist up, but then, and you keep your socks on because your feet will get cold otherwise. And then you have those lovely stirrups, like you're an animal, but that's what happens when you're a woman. And then they give you like this piece of paper, take your underwear off, take your pants off, and you have this piece of paper that's supposed to be like a blanket, but it's really just a piece of paper that's, not very absorbent at all. Like, it's not like it keeps you dry from anything. If you sneeze, then the paper gets wet. Although I guess it wouldn't during COVID because your mask would get wet. But anyway, so the plan, I had a talk with her because when I saw the oncologist, whenever it was ago, the tamoxifen, they're the two issues that affected me to kind of make a big question mark with the tamoxifen, was that it gives you an increased risk of stroke because of the increased risk of getting blood clots from the tamoxifen. Not a fan, but she had called my vascular doctor and he gave the thumbs up. The other part of it is that it increases your risk of having uterine cancer. So I'm like, if my uterus is already a mess and I have all these fibroids in there, and granted, I know they don't like necessarily lead to uterine cancer, but my uterus is a mess. Having a hysterectomy has always kind of been on the table, but like, if you don't need to remove an organ because something's not like seriously wrong, then like, I agree. Like, I would rather be minimally invasive than do something that's not really necessary. It's kind of been a wait and see how things go kind of thing. So yes, that's on the table. Do I really want to do that? No, because I know that when menopause is done, those fibroids will go away. So it's like, why do I want to remove an organ for like a couple of years worth of, drama that will just end up going away for the rest of my life? So, so today my gynecologist had mentioned Lupron, and I heard about Lupron the first time with the oncologist. The oncologist had talked about Lupron because, quick overview, if you are pre or perimenopausal, and you're doing like a pill kind of thing for your systemic therapy after cancer or for the rest of your cancer treatment, whatever it's called, they normally would put you on tamoxifen. If you are postmenopausal, they would put you on an aromatase inhibitor. Both of them, for me, both of them with the idea of, destroying receptors for cancer cells, so that way, for cancer cells that are estrogen fueled, you don't want estrogen in your body, and the tamoxifen would kill off the receptors that are on the cancer cells so that they basically die off. I don't know a ton about the aromatase inhibitors because when she mentioned like getting shots and blah, 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 and I'm like, whoa. So I'm perimenopausal. The average age of menopause is 51. I'll be 50 in a couple of months. But I still, they're all over the place, but I still do get my periods. So you can't be on aromatase inhibitors if you're getting your periods at all. What you would do then is make your body go into menopause. So how you would do that is Lupron is a shot, and you would have a shot, or I would have a shot every month to put my ovaries to sleep, which basically forces my body to go, force sounds like a harsh word, but it causes your body to go into menopause, like unnaturally because it's through a shot, but it causes your body to go into menopause. And if you're in menopause, then you can take this other medication. That other medication does not have an increased risk of stroke, nor does it increase your chances of having uterine cancer. So yay and yay. So she mentioned it, the oncologist mentioned that before, but she's like, of course, why get a shot every month if I can just be on the tamoxifen? And she talked to my gynecologist and she talked to my vascular doctor, and they all agreed, like, it's fine for me to be on the tamoxifen. So I've been taking it for a week, whenever it's been now, a little over a week. Not really had any side effects from it that I'm aware of. But then today at the gynecologist, when she mentioned Lupron, I'm like, I know about Lupron because that was brought up at the oncologist's office. And her thought was, similar, that if you're on Lupron, it makes your body go into menopause. You don't have these super heavy periods. The whole point is when you're in menopause, you don't have your periods at all. So it would have several, positive health benefits to me to just get the ball rolling to get me into menopause. And again, once I'm there, then I can take the medication, and I don't even know how long you have to be on it. I didn't ask a lot of questions about that because it seemed like tamoxifen was going to be the way to go. So right now, I agree that is something I'd rather try and see how that works. I don't know how my body's going to react to, being pushed into menopause. I'm pretty far, I think, into the process. I don't really know. I mean, it's been about 3 or 4 years that my periods have been, erratic. So I don't I don't have a crystal ball to know when I'm supposed to be going into menopause, but I'm only a year away statistically. So she's going to talk to my oncologist, and I have an appointment virtually with my oncologist next week anyway, so we'll have the same discussion. I'm pretty sure she's going to be on board because she had mentioned it in the first place when I met with her, when we started the whole thing. So if that's the case, I would need to, again, get the Lupron shots once a month, is my understanding. Put my ovaries to sleep, see what happens with my body. And then I probably at the same time, maybe after a month, I don't even really know. I feel like I have a piece of fuzz on my nose. That's why I keep doing this. And then start the aromatase inhibitors. And again, I don't know how long you're supposed to be on those for. Obviously, I'll let you know when I find out. And I'm totally okay with that plan. And I said to her, if things are so bad with my uterus, I'm like, if you need to do a hysterectomy, then whatever. For me, at this stage of my life, it is way less of a big deal for me to lose my uterus and my ovaries for that matter if I need to. Because for me, they've done their job already for me. I have 2 kids. I'm going to be 50 this year. I don't plan on having any more kids. So the point of my uterus is to bear children. I don't need to bear any more children. I have my children. I'm good. So I don't need my uterus as, I don't need it physically. I don't need it emotionally. If you take it out, fine, it's done its job, whatever. Same with my ovaries, for the eggs that are still coming out or whatever. I don't need them. I'm getting older. They're probably not great anyway, so I don't need them. The difference with the breasts are I still need, they still have a job to do for me. And yes, it's what it's on the inside that matters. If you go through this, you'll get that, it's not just about that at all. My breasts define my womanhood to me. You can rebut all you want to. My breasts are a sign of my womanhood, period, for me. And they're not done doing their job for me. I still need to have them look nice for me to feel powerful as a woman. It's not out of self-esteem stuff. It's whatever. It's just factual for me and where I am. But my uterus and my ovaries, like, whatever, they've done their thing, moving on. Like, I don't need my, if I was younger and I couldn't save my nipples or whatever, I don't even know how that would work with breastfeeding after you've had breast cancer. But like if I didn't have nipples and I had like little children that I wanted to nurse and then couldn't nurse, I'm sure I would have a lot more grieving there too, because I wouldn't have the choice to nurse. And that would be a whole other story. But like, I don't need my nipples. I mean, they'll look nicer to me by having them put back on through tattooing and stuff. But I still need my boobs to work for me. They're not done with this joyride of like Jen's life, my uterus, whatever, done. So we'll see what happens. I don't have any medical appointments until I have the virtual appointment with the oncologist next week. And we'll see what she says. And most likely I'll have to make an appointment, get in for the Lupron shot, and I'll have to ask her more questions about how the aromatase inhibitors work. I do know that they have less side effects from what I have heard from doctors and from patients that have taken it, that there are less side effects with them than there is with the tamoxifen. So that's the road that I'm on right now. On a side note, apparently they have recently decreased the age that you're supposed to, that's recommended that you have a colonoscopy down to 45 instead of 50. So guess what? I need to make a phone call and make an appointment to have a colonoscopy because I'm 49 and I'm having some stomach things going on. And I had one done when I was in my early 30s. Everything was fine. Not a pleasant experience. The colonoscopy itself is fine because you're like out for it. At least I was out for it. But the prep before it is new fun. I'm hoping that over the past, like, what's it been? 35, 45, like 15 years or so, that they've made some improvements in the stuff that you need to take, because the whole point is that your colon has to be emptied. And how do you empty that? Like, you take this crap that makes you poop everything out, so you really can't leave the house. I remember when I had my colonoscopy, it's actually a funny story how I found out that I was pregnant with my older son. I had planned to, I had like a full blown up physical, all that, check everything out on me before I start like trying to have children. I want to make sure that I'm all healthy and good, immunizations are all good, like whatever needs to get taken care of. And because I've had GI issues for like my entire life, they did a colonoscopy and everything was fine. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They told me they were going to do a colonoscopy. It wasn't until a few years later that I did it. Because when they do blood work before you have the colonoscopy to make sure that it's safe that you have it done. And they called and said they had to cancel my colonoscopy because I was pregnant. And I'm like, what? Because they asked me if there's any chance. And I'm like, no, I think I tried once. Like, I'm very fertile. Which I guess will be good if I don't have well, if I'm in menopause, I would never need to worry about birth control. Although I mean, the STD part, yeah, I still don't want to, I would like not to have diseases. So, but that changes stuff for birth control, which I didn't even think about. Like, I wouldn't need to have another Mirena. That's interesting. Anyway. Yeah, that's interesting. That just sidetracked me because I'm like, you don't have to worry about like having, getting pregnant, but you would, I think, because how would you get pregnant if your ovaries aren't working anymore? They wouldn't be releasing an egg that would potentially get fertilized. But I mean, I know like there's a billion friggin' STDs out there. Don't want those. So gotta make sure that, I'm safe when I get back out there. The 6-month thing too, as a single or divorced, whatever person, the 6 month and waiting for my boobs to settle down, like on a normal day, that's not late at night or talking about cancer all the time. Like, I am kind of ready to start dating again. Hopefully the pandemic will continue to not be absolutely horrible. But it's like, I don't think I want anyone touching me for a while. That's just where I am now. But thinking like 6 months, maybe that's the whole point. I still have to focus on me before I go out into the world or whatever. Although they say when you least expect it, that's when the right person comes along. So maybe that's, maybe, maybe that's, I don't know. Part of all this coming together is like, I'll meet my, my person. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'm not going to feel comfortable standing naked in front of someone for a bit. I have to be comfortable with that with me first before venturing out to, them and other domains. Oh boy. Okay, so where was I? So that was a gynecologist. What I will say, which was exciting news today, I went to the grocery store today. I didn't drive, but I went to the grocery store today and I got some groceries. I have not done that. I think since when I had COVID, and that was back in March, and now we're at the beginning of October. I think I've gone grocery shopping maybe 4 times. After COVID, it took me a while to get my, I get winded a lot more easily. So I couldn't make it through an entire grocery trip without like just getting totally exhausted, and I had to just stop and then go home and then bring my bags up the stairs, which was hard. So I had to time that out with when my son was home. But I went to the grocery store and I'm like, I have to start doing small things to slowly move my way back. It's like, it's kind of like OT, I guess, like I'm going to go to the grocery store and use the small cart so I'm not pushing too much weight. It's a lot to push the cart, even when it's empty. I did go to the grocery store to pick up meds, not groceries, but I pushed the cart just to push a cart, to have that kind of movement and or not movement, but I guess like muscle movement, in my chest, because you really feel it up here when you're pushing a cart the whole time. And then it really makes you not impulse buy a ton, because the more you put in the cart, the heavier it gets, and you're like, do I really need that? So I don't know how many items I got. I'm pretty sure I only filled like the top layer, because I wasn't going to reach down to get to the bottom layer of the shopping cart. I know I went in the express aisle, so I must have had less than 15 or fewer items. And then I said to her when she went to bag, I didn't have my reusable bags with me because I wasn't in my car, and they use paper bags. And I said to her, can you please make sure when you bag them that you bag them like not super heavy, because I can't carry heavy things. She's like, okay. And she lays everything all out, and then she puts stuff in the paper bags in my cart. And in one bag, she puts the milk, the butter, all the heavy things that are refrigerated in that bag. I'm like, hello? Did you not like listen to what I just said? So what I learned was that when I do start doing this on my own, well, first of all, I can use an app. If I go to Wegmans, I can use an app and I scan and bag myself. So I would never need to worry about, I would be the one putting stuff in bags. But if that were to happen and I wasn't at Wegmans or something, I would keep or have my reusable bags in my trunk, which I normally do anyway. And I could just, go to my car and just resort them myself into however I need the bags to be in order to get them up the stairs. I was not able to carry any of my groceries up the stairs. My friend carried them up for me. So again, that's stuff it's good to practice that with having someone with you. It was unintentional, but when she offered, I'm like, it's something I could really use to do. And then I treated myself to an apple cider donut when I was done, which, yeah, that's maybe part of why I've gained the 20 pounds. I rarely have donuts, but when I do, no, I rarely have donuts. Yeah, so that was today. And then I had some other stuff go on. I was just like, I'm pooped. Yeah, so that was my today. And, I don't know, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Friday. No doctor's appointments tomorrow, but I get my hair washed tomorrow at the salon, and she'll blow it out. Yeah, tomorrow will be a more chill day, although I do have to clean my apartment tomorrow, and I'm hurting, so like I'm not looking forward to moving stuff around to straighten stuff up. But I know that I need to. I'll feel better when my apartment's cleaner. I did buy a Keurig today, like a single serve one. Part of the dietary GI thing is to have a cup of coffee every morning. I can get used to that. It's fine. I'll just be careful with my teeth that they don't get stained. So that just came a little while ago. And I used to have, remember the breakfast, lunch, and dinner bins on my counter? Now I'm down to one bin because the other stuff that was in there, I can reach. I can reach my teas. I can reach my coffee. So they're back in the cabinets. All I have that's out still are like paper plates, and not a ton because I'm able to use regular plates. It's just that when I run the dishwasher, I don't want to unload like a full dishwasher. It's just a lot all at once. So I have some paper plates, some plastic utensils. I'm using regular utensils too, but again, I don't want to like pick up the carrier, and I'm just trying to minimize what's. Oh crap! I have clothes in the dryer too. I gotta take those out. I'm just trying to minimize stuff, not going whole hog with changing things around. But I am down to just one basket, so that's exciting. I have like oatmeal packets and stuff in there too, because the top shelf where I keep my breakfasty kind of things to eat, my non-perishables, I can't reach that at all. So the stuff that I would use in there is still out on the counter. But it feels good to get rid of some of the baskets and not need them anymore. Even the one like right in front of me that has, I haven't had had sensory issues. That one day when it was like out of control, I wonder if that was partly because of I was supposed to have gotten my period right around then and I never got it. So I wonder if that was linked together with that. I really have no idea. I think it was also linked to the fact that I was like not taking the gabapentin at that point anymore. But like there's pens and all of these things, my blood pressure cuffs and stuff. Honestly, I think I took my blood pressure twice since the nurse discharged me. And that was like 5 weeks ago. But I went to the gynecologist today knowing that or not knowing actually what she was going to say, assuming she'd say you need to get a hysterectomy and or have your ovaries removed. And like I trust her or whatever, but every time I go there, my blood pressure is high. And I knew I was going to have an ultrasound, and I'm like, you don't really want a wand up your vagina. It's not the most, well, some people might, but this kind is not the most comfortable because you're like going all around to fish around to find all the right spots to take pictures of. Oh, my blood pressure. So yeah, my blood pressure was, where's the sheet? It was 114/72. I'm like, what? It's so weird. Since all this stuff has happened, I maybe once had high blood pressure, and that was it. And in a doctor's office, which is the whole white coat thing. But to go to a gynecologist where you're expecting that kind of stuff to happen, and she took my blood pressure, and I'm like, I'm just imagining her saying like 150 something over 92. And I'd be like, can you just check me in a half an hour and I'll be fine? Let's just get the testing over with, and then I'll be chill after that and take it again and I'll be good. It was 114. I'm like, holy cow. So bizarre. Last thing I'm going to leave you with before I go is the 35-mile cancer walk. Yesterday, I didn't do my morning get up and go. I was just not in good mental space to do that. I did walk some, and I walked around, but not necessarily like exercisey kind of walk. And when I looked at how many steps I was, that's what I translated into how many miles I walked. Today, like my purse was in the grocery cart, so it doesn't show up as moving, and I don't really want an Apple Watch because I don't find them very attractive and fashionable, though practical, I guess, but I don't like live by numbers like that, but I still looked at how much I did. So probably, I don't know, with the grocery shopping, I mean, I was walking in pretty much the entire store from one end to the other, literally, and not exactly sure how many steps I walked, but I know it was more than what was logged on my actual phone. So, yeah, thank you to everyone who's donated for that. As a whole, I think they're up to like $150,000 that's been raised, and it's only October 6th or something, I think. It's still early, which is great. But I am committed to, holding up to my end of the bargain, and I know I can do the 35 miles in October. I'm not concerned about that. And I need to get back on, a program of getting stuff done. Tomorrow when I'm cleaning up my apartment for the cleaners, when you clean for the cleaners, because I just have clutter and Amazon boxes and like Halloween decorations to put up and stuff, whatever. But walking around doing that will certainly be a lot of steps. And And there's a football game tomorrow too, so I know I'll have steps to get from the parking lot to the stands and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I am getting there. I am getting there. So productive day. I'm hurting. I'm not even really looking forward to sleeping because I don't know what that's going to feel like. But one day at a time, right? Oh, my glasses are ready too. The ones that were all like screwy. So I do have to call them too and get picking those up and see what happens with that. All right, that's all I got. Have a great day, night, morning, weekend, wherever you are. Bye.